If you've ever been to Cape Town, you'll probably know that there's a really big flat mountain, and you would probably know that you can get to the top of this mountain by a cable car. But have you ever wondered how the cable car got to be there in the first place? I certainly have, because I like things. So I wanted to find out, where did this cable car come from? So here we go. The first recorded ascent to the summit of Table Mountain was by Antonio de Saldanha in 1503. Yes, 1503, that's a long time ago. He made his way to the top via the famous Platteklip Gorge, which today is the most traveled hiking route up the mountain. For the longest time, hiking was the only way to access the top of Table Mountain. The cableway's history, though, doesn't date quite as far back as Antonio's time, but it is still quite a while ago, to the 1870s, when there were proposals to build a rack railway along the mountain slopes to make it easier for members of the public to reach the summit. But unfortunately, this didn't happen due to the First Anglo-Boer War. The next plan came in 1912, when an engineer, H.M. Peter, had been commissioned by the Cape Town City Council to build a funicular up the mountain. Peter suggested that a funicular railway line running up from Oranjezicht through Platteklip Gorge would be the most suitable option. The development phase of this project was halted by the advent of yet another war, this time World War I. There was little movement until the 1920s, when Norwegian engineer Trygve Strømsø proposed the construction of a cableway. The building of the lower and upper stations began in 1926, along with a tea room at the top. This was nothing short of a phenomenal engineering feat, taking 2 years to complete, at the then staggering cost of £60,000. I mean, if you think about it, building a building on top of a massive mountain is quite crazy. A rudimentary track for a soapbox to transport workers, equipment, and building materials were constructed, as well as temporary housing for the workers. The result of this work was a wooden cable car with a tin roof that took nearly 10 minutes to carry 19 people and a conductor the 704 meters to the summit. During this time, interestingly enough, the Cableway company also had a small budget for silk stockings, as ladies tended to snag their hosiery on the Fynbos at the top of the mountain. The cableway construction was performed by Adolf Bleikart & Co. of Leipzig, Germany, and it took 3 years of extremely dangerous work to complete. The cableway opened on the 4th of October 1929. That's almost 96 years ago. And amazingly, it has a proud history of being totally accident-free since then, which is pretty impressive. The official ceremony was opened by the Mayor of Cape Town, the Reverend A.J.S. Lewis, and attended by more than 200 people. The cableway has been refurbished 3 times since its inauguration in 1929. These included upgrades to the upper and lower cable stations, as well as enlarging the gondolas, which I find is a weird word, so I'll just say cable car, the actual car itself. The first refurbishment occurred in 1958 and upgraded the capacity of the cars by 4 people. So that's a total capacity of 23 people, as well as the conductor. Fully loaded, it weighed approximately 3 tons. That's each cable car. The newly upgraded cableway had an auxiliary diesel-powered engine in the upper cable station, designed to take over in the event of a power failure. These cable cars took 8 minutes to travel from the lower station to the top station, 2 minutes faster than the first version. The cable cars remained in operation until 1974 and carried 2 million people in their lifetime. Among the many famous visitors during this period was Royal Ballet prima ballerina, Dame Margot Fonteyn. You can actually still see the old 1958 cable car when you visit Table Mountain Cableway today. You can look for it on the road opposite the main queuing area. The second cableway upgrade in 1974 saw the introduction of lighter cable cars, each carrying a capacity of 28 people. Safety precautions were further improved with the introduction of these cars, while weekly inspections were carried out by skilled technicians involving hazardous duties on the roof of these moving cars as it traveled up and down the line. In 1993, Dennis Hennessy, the son of one of the founders of Table Mountain Aerial Cableway Company, that's a mouthful, sold the company. The new directors immediately set about planning an infrastructure upgrade. Apart from remodeling the restaurants and upgrading the machinery, new cable cars were purchased. Unlike the old cars, these new cable cars, or Rotairs as they're called, have revolving floors that allow passengers a 360-degree view of the city and the mountain as they glide up and down. Work on these upgrades began in January 1997 and was completed by Swiss company Garaventa AG CWA. This increased the capacity from 28 passengers to 65 passengers per trip, which is an exponential increase. For several months, Table Mountain's distinctive features were altered by the presence of cranes and the comings and goings of large helicopters carrying equipment and construction materials up and down the mountain. The revamped cableway was officially opened on the 4th of October 1997, which is the anniversary of the original launch almost 70 years previously. Table Mountain Aerial Cableway is one of only a few rotating cable car systems in the world and the only one in Africa. The ride as it stands now lasts just over 5 minutes, and the cables that the cars run on are 1.2 kilometers long. The rotating cars run on a double cable, which means they're far more stable in the strong winds that occur on the Cape Peninsula. A whole bunch of icons, celebrities and royals have been among the millions that have used the cableway, such as talk show host Oprah Winfrey, musician Sting, actor Arnold Schwarzenegger, Harry Potter himself, Daniel Radcliffe, even Justin Bieber are some of the famous names who have taken a ride up to the top of the mountain. The very first set of cable cars, which is the actual set that carried King George VI, Queen Elizabeth, as well as Princesses Elizabeth and Margaret to the top of Table Mountain, are on display at the Transport Museum in Johannesburg. So that's the history. Now, for those who are slightly technically savvy, here's some interesting facts about the cableway. The 65-passenger Rotair cable cars transport visitors 704 meters from the lower cable station at 363 meters above sea level to the upper cable station at 1,067 meters above sea level. That's nearly 700 meters in elevation in 5 minutes at a speed of 10 meters per second. The cable cars transport approximately 800 people an hour. There are 2 cable cars which counterbalance each other. As one goes up, the other comes down. Interestingly, they cannot operate independently of each other, so they have to go up, down simultaneously. Rotating cable cars, like the ones used at Table Mountain, are also being used at Mount Titlis in Switzerland and Palm Springs in the United States of America. The rounded shape of the cable cars actually offers excellent aerodynamics in Cape Town's very strong southeaster wind, which enables the cable car to operate in somewhat windier conditions than the previous versions of the cable cars. The base of the cable cars have built-in water tanks that can ferry up to 3,000 liters of water to the top of the mountain, which help to provide stability during strong winds, and it also ensures that visitors have fresh water at the top of the mountain, especially during those long, hot summer months. The special cabling used for the cableway is actually Swiss-made, and it is a full lock coil, which is designed to keep moisture out while retaining internal lubrication. The cables themselves weigh 18 tons and are 1.2 kilometers each in length. The cables are attached to counterbalance weights, each weighing 134 tons. That's very heavy. The cable cars can carry a maximum weight of 5,200 kilograms. So next time you visit Table Mountain, think about all that's gone into giving you such a pleasant experience of one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. Bonus hack, if you're South African, like a South African citizen, you can get a free trip up the cableway in your birth month. Thank you so much for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!